to Rhealism channel, and welcome to my website. If you are on the website, it's www.rhealism.com. If you're not, my name is Rhea. I am excited to join you guys yet again, and I have to say that there has been an activation of sorts just from all the love and support and encouragement that I've received. So thank you guys, because it means a lot when you step out and try something new. Child, get ready. I don't know how many of you guys started something new, but I did, and we here, so let's do it. So tonight, tonight, whenever time you should see this. Today's inspiration it comes from two places. One was a quote, and I'm not going to botch it, so I am going to read it, so give me a second. But it comes from the late, great Chloe Anthony Wolford Morrison, also known as Toni Morrison, and I'm going to read it so that I don't mess it up. The quote says, "I tell my students, when you get these jobs that you have been so brilliantly trained for, just remember that your real job is that if you are free, you need to free somebody else. If you have some power, then your job is to empower somebody else." And that was extracted from the great O magazine. It was an article from November 2003. And so there was two things that resonated with me in that quote. One, it was that if you are free, you need to free somebody else. I don't know if you guys heard me talk about the freedom movement. Hey, hallelujah. That's going to be one of the things that I aim to spread across this channel, across my blog, across any speaking engagements, is to give us free, to get us free, the freedom movement. And then the second part of that is that if there's any power that you hold, I believe we all hold power. So that just encapsulates everyone right there. But if we have any power, then our job is to empower someone else. So that's really the inspiration for this week. That's what's real to me this week, is walking in freedom, walking in empowerment, and then spreading that on. So if you should be listening to me right now, if you should be in your sphere of influence, desiring to empower other people, to enlighten other people, light attracts light. So let's enlighten each other's lives. How about that? And then the second motivation for this week, I was reading my journal a lot, as I think I've mentioned, and I was reading a journal entry that I had written the night that I went to this event. I'm a proud HBCU alum. Go CAU, hey. And so I was going to an HBCU in LA event. It was back in August. But last night I was reading the journal and I said, God, I got to do a video on this because it touched my heart in such a way. I came from an entertainment industry background, and this was all about, young people that were engaging in a film project. It was an internship program from pitch to screen, basically. So they came up with the concept, worked on teams, and it was just so dope and so beautiful. And so, I just came across the journal entry and how it touched me. And I said, you know what? I'm guaranteeing that there are people out there who are either in transition from career to another career, who may not know what their thing is, what their purpose is, who might be seeking. Whatever your place is, I just know that the light bulb went off. And that's kind of my hope for this channel and for my blog and for anything that you might hear me speaking on or writing on, is for that light to attract light, for me to shine enlightenment on somebody else. And so at that event, that's exactly what happened to me. And there were the people who were in the room that were the funders, the mentors to these young people. So let's talk about it. So I thought that this week, the segment will fall under the Hope for Your Journey category. I'm going to try to establish some segments that we can get used to. So consider this Hope for Your Journey. And I want to entitle this video, Your Dopeness Follows You. Ain't that something? Your dopeness follows you. What does that mean? Let's talk about it. I want to start by saying that I think I spoke about this in a former video regarding finding your purpose. And I have absolutely always been pretty much torn between two worlds. So I was never someone that had a linear path. And as a result, I found myself having multiple jobs, multiple industries, doing a little of this, doing a little of that. Nevertheless, it was always kind of leading me onto working with people, putting out fires, being a critical thinker, being kind of a leader within whatever environment, organization that I was in. But it wasn't until this year, and this is when I spoke about it on my video a few videos back, was that I really started to own my journey. And I think what I hope that someone will get from listening to this is that, we all have dreams. Many of you might have a vision board. I know I do. I have the same vision board that I've had now for 7 years, since 2012, because my vision hasn't changed. I'm fortunate enough to have a very clear picture of where I want to go, where I believe my life can go. And so I hope that you guys have done the same. But with that, Sometimes you might find yourself in jobs or positions or in transitional seasons where you got to do what you got to do, and it may not look like what's on that vision board, okay? It may not be this glamorous position, or, I have an entrepreneurial heart. I am a mogul mind, baby. You better get ready, because these businesses are going to bloom. I believe that. But yeah, sometimes you might be in those situations where it might not be exactly what you envision. And so you're trying to navigate through finding the contentment, finding the joy, keeping your faith activated. That's the whole gist of what I think I experienced most of my adult life. And so that's why I kind of want to talk about it, because I believe so strongly that, your dopeness follows you. And I'm going to tell you how I got to believe that. So for any of you that, might be engaging upon starting a new career path, or out there seeking a job, but you might really have something passionate on your heart that you want to do, my encouragement to you is to really start. I'm always going to reflect. In every video I talk about reflecting, doing a self-assessment, checking yourself, asking yourself certain questions. That's kind of who I am. I'm a question connoisseur. Hey, I believe that, how could we discover anything about ourselves or others without asking questions, right? So something that I want to encourage or impart to you is just to really sit back and reflect upon who you are, what makes you tick, what makes you stir inside. Is there something that you're particularly passionate about? I don't know. If you've noticed in the jobs that you've had or the situations that you found yourself in, was there a common thread? When people come into contact with you, is there something that you find yourself doing? I know for me, I'm very much the person that people used to come to ask for like solutions or to ask for advice. Or they might say, hey, Rhea, what do you think about this? Or do you think this makes sense? And so what I found is that no matter what title I held, I was always kind of in that role, the one that gets to make sense, to see what's effective, what's practical, hence Rhealism. Go back a few videos to check out that definition. But I'm starting to see it all come together, and thus it's created a confidence in me to share with you. So don't get so caught up on, what the title might be, or maybe, like I said, it may not look like that vision. Just really sit with yourself and say, hey, what do I bring to the table? What are my skill sets? What am I good at? What do I find myself, burning inside because I want to find a solution to, I want to be a part of the change to? Those are the types of things that I think have helped me along my journey, so that no matter what role I was in, I was kind of able to still walk in that confidence and know that whether it was a nonprofit organization, whether it was entertainment industry, whether it's the world of education, which I have a strong hand in now, or whether it's an entrepreneurial venture, I kind of have the same work ethic, and that is excellence. So what I told myself throughout all of those things, and that's, I guess I'll make this another point, think about what core values you possess as it relates to work, as it relates to how you show up in different environments. Think about those things. I'll probably come up with some concrete questions towards the end of this video, but I just want to kind of get the ball going just so you can see that sometimes it's not so much about what you do as much as it is about who you are and what you bring to what you do. Hello, let's talk about that. So just to kind of talk about some of the things that I've done in the past and how, even though they're totally different, I started to find that common thread. So I was a makeup artist, waitress, bartender. I worked in commercial property management, worked as a therapist, worked as a life coach, worked as an executive director, all of those things and many more, by the way. Those are just the main substitute taught for a while. But in all of those things, what I found was the common thread for me was obviously people, helping people. There was always some element of something that I cared about, whether it was mostly finding solutions or, people having an issue that they needed support on. And I'm the girl, I'm the one to say, hey, let's do this. Why don't we do this? Very much an ideas giver, an ideas connoisseur of sorts. But again, I think sometimes we don't realize how even if things don't, to our minds, logically make sense or seem like they're, interwoven within the creative world or the business world or the entrepreneurial world. I just want to encourage you today that you never know. I believe in God, and I believe that, throughout life's journey, a lot of times we will be led to seasons where it may not make sense or we may not resonate right off the bat. I know that happened to me. I made a hard decision to walk away from entertainment 12 years ago. I don't want to say walk away, but to change my role within it, because I had kind of a linear path at that time to get licensed as a therapist and to become a coach and to be more stable as opposed to traveling all over the place. Thus, that finds me here in this place to pursue my dreams. But it took, a hard decision to kind of say, hey, you know what? I'm going to put a pause on that and I'm gonna just pick up on another passion of mine. And so that also can be something that I want to encourage you guys. If you find yourself with split passions or multiple things that you want to do, don't beat up on yourself or feel like, oh man, I have to leave that behind me, because guess what? Now the beauty is we get to be creative. We get to create our own paths. And now I feel like I'm in a juncture of figuring out how I can merge entertainment and my world of self-help and therapy and counseling, and how all of those wonderful things can work together. So that's my little nugget of wisdom, inspiration, encouragement on that tip. Something else that resonates with me tonight that I think I struggled with for quite a long time is that, sometimes we can find ourselves, whether it's voluntarily or involuntarily, having to transition maybe without our desire, meaning like maybe you moved, or maybe a job situation changed, or maybe you had to, for money's sake. I know I've had to make decisions like that where I had to just hustle or do what I had to do for a better quality of life. But nevertheless, sometimes we can find ourselves holding on to like where we were, or beating up on ourselves, or feeling like, oh man, because I'm not in that place where I used to be. It could create a weight on us, and it very much can inhibit us from our creative brain working at its capacity. It could affect our joy and peace. I'm a very strong advocate of protecting our peace. But these are some things that I experienced. I was feeling very bad, or just holding on to like my former life and all the awesome, dope, interesting things that I got to do in my former careers. But what I will say is, hey, when I really sat down and I look at how those skill sets that I developed in those former places have truly followed me onto every single role. So whether it be adapting to any environment, being super organized, being very communicative and knowing the importance of communicating within a body, being able to come up with solutions when things come up, still having my creative abilities to be able to give great ideas or figure out how two entities work, like what makes sense. Those are all things that I literally have done in every single job. So today I sit here very encouraged and very hopeful as I coach other people, as I do these videos, as I write my blogs, and I find myself interacting with so many people across industries, be it entertainment, be it, entrepreneurs, writers, medical field, whatever field that people are in who are in my life and in my circle. We all kind of share a similar experience sometimes in life, and that's transition, and that's monotony in your workplace, or maybe feeling like you want more. Maybe you have great success in your workplace, but you want to give back. All of those things are things that I think will come up at some point in time. So it's just very important that you stay in tune with you as you navigate through life and as you navigate through these transitions, so that your confidence stays where it needs to be, and more importantly, so that you can hold your head up high and know that you are the prize on whatever team or environment or job that you might find yourself on. So don't forget that. If I could just drop some gems of encouragement just to summarize this thing, because I feel like I'm having therapy here. I'm just kind of talking and sharing and getting stuff off my chest. I would say bloom where you're planted. Wherever you are in this season, in this earlier part of 2020, like I said, maybe you're right smack dab in the middle of where you want to be. I know I feel like I am. This video, these opportunities that I'm creating for myself, and that hopefully God will continue opening doors for, is really serving a purpose in my life and in my heart. I'm excited to be able to engage in this way. Please leave a comment or question. If there's something that you might be going through as it relates to this topic, please let me know, because that's what this is all about. I do have a website. I mentioned www.rhealism.com, RHEALISM. You can always click on Ask Rhea. You can also just leave a comment at the bottom of this video or on the contact section. So all of those ways you can get in touch with me. But just for some final thoughts and for some encouragement, I want to say bloom where you are planted. Don't beat up on yourself if where you currently are might not reflect where you want to be. We talked a little bit about that in my last video, how to get unstuck and how to get clear about where you want to go. Some other things I want to say is that whichever lane or career, that you find yourself in, just think that there's something there that you are learning. There's something there. If you can look back at every job, I like to do this activity. One time I wrote out every single job that I ever had in life, and it was probably 30-something jobs. It was older than what my age was at the time. But just reflect, do some reflection. look at the thread. Even if you can't find a common thread, look at the lessons that were learned on those places and see, if you can find the positive of something that you gained. That's a big practice for me. It's like, what did I learn? What did I gain from that experience? And you might start to see, a little bit of a thread between the roles that you find yourself in. Yeah, my last encouragement is that, God, the universe, whatever resonates with you, I know for me, it's God. I believe in my heart that he's crystal clear on what our dreams are, on what lives that we envision ourselves to be in, on what our heart's desires are. I believe that all seasons change. And I know that even if you're not where you want to be, or maybe you are, God bless you if you are, because I just love to be around people who love what they do. But all seasons will change. And what I know is, wherever you find yourself today, whatever role you find yourself in, there's somebody there that needs you. So just try to, if I can impart anything, have a perspective shift, have a change in the way you're looking at and viewing your situation, and realize that your dopeness really does follow you everywhere you go. So you are the prize. You are the one that has the gift to give the world, no matter in what industry you're working in. And more importantly, we can create the path that we want. So let's get about the business of doing that today, guys. If you have any questions, let me know. I think I want to circle back and give you guys, again, some reflection questions to ask yourself, just in case you might find yourself needing a little bit of hope for your journey, or trying to see, what it is that you can do in addition maybe to that job that might be a little monotonous. So I wrote down some questions. One of them, what makes you unique? What are your gifts? What are you talented at? What do you enjoy doing? Something else. When people come into contact with you, what do they get? I know for me, I would say they get the truth. They get someone who's going to listen. They get someone that's going to say, hey, you know what? It's all good. You might have messed up, or, oh man, you feel like you behind. It's all good. There's no day like today. You're going to get somebody that understands and tries to normalize. I don't care what job I've ever had. I'm like, it's okay. It's never too late. I'm just an optimist. Sue me. The other thing that I think you should ask is, if you found yourself on different career paths, what was the common thread? So was there a theme within all of your jobs? Did you find yourself, resonating with a particular thing, whether it be, using your hands, working on a team, using your creative muscles, writing, working with kids, whatever it was. What was the common thread? Were you in isolation? Some people just like to work by themselves. That could be something else that you consider. And did you learn something in each of those roles? What did you learn in each of those roles? So hopefully this wasn't too all over the place. I know sometimes I get so excited and I get to making notes. But again, I'm really much a person about action. I'm a person who believes that we can find a solution to any problem. And if we don't, our God or, the universe or whoever you subscribe to, I believe that life has its way of working out things. And so it made me think, funny enough, transition point, there was a book called The Alchemist that I read. And no, wait a minute. I hope y'all did you hear that? Sorry. There was a book called The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho that really blessed me. I read it about 3 times. But don't quote me, but you can also Google to get the notes and the gist. But the gist of what I took from that, it made me think about the content for this video tonight. And that is that whatever your dream is, whatever your heart's desire is, as we journey through life, you will find that God will place people, situations, maybe they may not be ideal, but somehow they all work together to move us and propel us to where we have to go. And so, hey, I'm not getting any residuals off of suggesting that book, but I will say, go ahead and check that book out, because it was really, honestly, one of my top 5 that I would suggest in life, just in terms of the theme and the purpose. It was just a beautiful story that really resonated with me and a million other people. So check it out. Again, guys, like, subscribe, comment, hate, I don't mind. I'm working at this thing. This is new for me. But just talk to me, and I can't wait to talk to you. I think I want to elaborate a little more on this topic. So check out my website and click on blog if you want to learn any more, see any more, holla at me, comment, whatever. But I do look forward to it, and I look forward to seeing you every single week. So I love it. I love you. Check it out. Peace.